Welcome, hockey fans, to another episode of Hockey Night in the Valley. Today's episode is called At the Helm, and it's all about those wonderful people that teach this outstanding game, coaches. This episode will explore why these volunteers are involved in the game, what they bring to the game, and how they got involved in it. Additionally, we've got some points and considerations from the top head coach in the city of Calgary, Bob Hartley. Obviously, one of the big challenges that we have in coaching is the ability for a coach to measure the difference between what he should be working on in a game in practice versus skill versus tactical. What's your opinion in minor hockey in terms of what coaches should be working on?
As a minor hockey coach, my number one priority should be as soon as little Billy leaves the rink at 10 o'clock on Saturday, he gets into his dad's car. His first question should be, when is my next practice or when is my next game? A coach should be a reason why a young kid would want to come back to the rink. I coached in Switzerland 3 years ago, and I was amazed of all the work that minor hockey coaches do with kids, not only on the ice, but mainly before practice with soccer ball, going around cones, like plyometrics. I felt that, even a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids could do push-ups, could do like squats, like all without weights, but using their body weight. I felt that a practice would last maybe 3 hours, like the off ice and the on ice, and I really believe in this. And in the summer, kids should play tennis, they should play golf, they should play baseball, and you meet new concepts and you teach your body other moves, other sports, and there's nothing wrong like playing a little bit of summer hockey or a hockey camp here and there, but do we need to be on the ice 52 weeks a year? I don't think so.
One of the things that Bow Valley has is we have a group called the Pride and Culture Committee, and one of the focuses of the committee is to make sure that we're trying to make our members and players more valuable members of the community and the association. Hockey's a big part of our world, but it's the vehicle in which we're developing new people. Can you maybe tell us about some of your experience on how you've developed character in your players as you were coming through?
Well, there's lots of ways. I believe communication, whether it's in minor hockey, whether it's in the NHL or just in every days of life, you need to communicate. You need to listen to people. You need to ask questions. You need to also observe. As coaches, we're not always right. And I challenge my players a lot of time for feedback. So I think that you want to build character. You always want to build a good culture, because good players will not necessarily make a good team. Good people will make a good team. And then it's the job of the coaching staff of the entire organization to make those good people good players. So I think that there's a fine line with this. We always want talent. Winning is such a drug in our sport that sometimes we forget about the reality of why we're in here with kids. Because let's face it, at the NHL level, we take it for granted too many times. We forget to thank the volunteer, organizers, coaches in minor hockey, parents, even the kids, because they're the roots of hockey. And if they're not in the rink at 6 o'clock in the morning, there won't be any National Hockey League.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Bob. We really appreciate it with such a busy schedule, and your insight and your answers are fantastic. Any final words for the minor hockey players in Calgary?
Well, just have fun. It's a great game. Do it with pride. Make sure that you care about always who's sitting beside you. Be as a team. And remember, you come in a rink as a champion. The biggest challenge for you is to leave the rink as a champion, and it's not always based on wins and losses.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the season.
Thank you.
What a great opening. Our first half of the episode went very well with Mr. Hartley, and thank you very much for your time and energy. The second half of this event is going to be held as a roundtable discussion, and we're going to talk about the different aspects of what coaching means to us, as well as what tools and resources are available to coaches, so we can encourage more people to stay involved and be involved in the game. With us today, we have Darren Singleton, Kevin Kobelka, and Trevor Morgan, all to discuss these different points and topics that are very important for our coaches. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the first topic I'd like to talk about is the challenges that we face in minor hockey completely in getting coaches to come out and some of the different ideas you guys might have in terms of helping us to turn that tide and get more people involved. Darren?
Sure. We look for volunteers from all different, age groups and demographics, but it's different from age group to age group. So, you'll want volunteers at all levels. So it's a bit of a challenge. You always get the volunteers that are eager and willing to commit the time and the energy it takes to coach. And then there's a group of people that are they're unsure of what the commitment is and what the support is for them. So a lot of people will sit on the fence a little bit until you give them a little more confidence in that you will be supported and you will have the resources available to you. And it's a big leap because it is a big time commitment for people. So we scour the colleges and the junior teams, the guys retiring. We make phone calls to young guys in the community. I got started in high school, so as part of my phys ed program, I went and helped a team coach. So just giving them the confidence that you will be supported and that there is structure in place.
Well, and it can be a little scary. I mean, everybody always hears the horror stories about parents in hockey, right? And being Canadian, so passionate for us, it's an area that tends to shy some people away. Kevin, how about yourself? What do you think some of the challenges are that we're facing and keeping people involved in coaching?
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge is confidence. I think people think they need more skills than they really do to be a good coach. And in my opinion, number one, for any good coach, you need to be a good communicator. That's first and foremost. And we're not teaching rocket science at the very young levels. We want to get out and teach fun. But people have this impression that they got to know all the systems that you see in the NHL. So I think we need to educate our people on, it's about communicating, it's about having fun and getting out there and supporting your young children. I think the other reason that people shy away too is they feel pressure. And there's pressure put on from parents, there's pressure put on from organizations. And I think we need to educate them that, it's not about wins and losses, it's about having fun, it's about skill development. And that's going to get us more coaches in the future.
100%. Actually, and there's a part in Bob Hartley's conversation with regards to what a coach should be focusing on, why he's actually there. So, well put. Trevor.
I agree with both their comments that it's a thankless job at times. They put in a lot of time, and sometimes they get beat up for not doing things that parents think that they should be doing. Focusing more on team systems as opposed to the skill development. So I think after a coach goes through that for a season or two, they end up packing it in. But as well as just having the confidence and the ability to go out on the ice and do it. I think we just got to change our mentality at the younger age groups, get more guys involved and girls, more mums and dads on the ice helping out, and just give them the tools to be successful and support them from a society level.
I agree 100%. You know what, the more people that try at least find out really what it's about, and then they can communicate to the others what really is required. So, well, that's super, guys. Maybe now we can talk a little bit about the different resources that are available to help encourage these people in the world of coaching, and so they understand what they can access. Darren, why don't you talk a little bit about where you get some of your stuff?
Yeah, you hear a lot about the best coaches, the best thieves. I think that's true. There's tons of resources out there. So I pull from anywhere. Hockey Canada's got a lot of good stuff. A good foundation that I use. I pull stuff from Hockey USA. Lots of videos off the internet. There's lots of good guys in town to go watch. So I work across the street from the Saddle Dome. So game day, I can go over and watch practice. And it's funny because it's very, very simple stuff they do. We don't realize how great that league is and how great those players are, but they're doing the simple stuff. Yep. They're doing skill stuff. Every time I'm there, you go watch Patrick Kane, and he's doing stuff that, it's very simple. And I'm always got my eyes open, and it doesn't, not just hockey, because you'll see other coaches in other sports doing certain things for team building or resources or motivation. I always got my ears open and eyes open for new stuff, and the creative side is what keeps it interesting. And
well, it's funny what you said. I do know that Mike Babcock only runs 11 drills for the entire year. That's his entire drill book is 11 drills. Yeah. So if the NHL can get away with it, we certainly should. And at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a new drill. No. All these have been done one way or another. Kevin, why don't you talk a little bit from the Hockey Canada aspect, what resources are made available and how Hockey Canada supports coaches?
Sure. First of all, I got 12 drills, so we're all good there. But no, I think we're very fortunate to live in the technology age now with the internet and access to everything. It's easy for coaches to source things. You can go onto the Hockey Canada website and you can click, and there's different drills for different age groups. I think, again, as we go back to the challenges, everybody wants to overcomplicate the game, and the game is a very simple game, and we need to think about that. And probably my biggest advice for all young coaches is you can go and look at all these drills, and people can send them to you on the piece of paper, but a lot of times you won't be able to decipher those. And I always say to coaches, the best way to find new stuff is go to your rink, and not even go to the NHL rink. Go to your own rink and watch the practice in front of you. And you will find every time you do that, you'll pick up one drill. I was at a Calgary Canucks practice last week. I'm standing there for 10 minutes, I watched this drill. That night, I put it in my practice, it worked great. Something I needed to do. So go to the rink, it's the easiest spot, and visual is way easier way to learn than trying to take it off the website.
That's right. Well, and I'm sure any coach that you ask on the ice would be more than happy to give the advice on his particular drill and what the key points were. Trevor, maybe you could talk a little bit about the Hockey Calgary aspect and the private side and how they support and what different things they bring to the table for us.
Well, we're fortunate at Bow Valley with our website. We have a variety of resources on our site with our drill bank. We have resources from everything from our goalies through Timbits through midget age groups. So coaches can log in, a variety of progressions that they can look at. It's all sectioned off depending on what skill set they want to work on, skating, puck control, basic team system concepts for the midget, bantam age groups. So we have a lot of resources there. We also offer coach specialty clinics within the society. So we'll be implementing a lot more of those come the new year. So coaches come on ice, and we'll tailor those around whatever the coaches would like to see offered. So coaches will have an input, and we'll put a practice plan together and tailor it to that skill set so that they can learn. Also coming up, we have our Coach Day on December 15th, where we got Ken Babby coming out from State Trojans as well as GDI to do a goalie clinic as well as a skill session. So got a lot of good things going within our society to help make our coaches better. And then coming in the new year, we're going to start to implement our mentorship program full-fledged again. So,
well, and that's exactly it. And Bow Valley does benefit that aspect because of the fact that if a coach doesn't know how a skill is supposed to be worked, they can access someone like yourself to come out on the ice and help them to learn how that's supposed to be taught so that they can then exceed and grow as a coach as well. So, I mean, that's fantastic. Maybe now we can talk about some different aspects in terms of what skills you guys see as a benefit for a coach so that people watching this can understand different areas that they might be able to help with. Darren, maybe you can talk a little bit about some of that skill set.
Yep, you bet. Preparation's a huge thing, and for every hour you spend on the ice, you probably spend a couple hours, honing your craft, learning, preparing, being ready. We do not have a surplus of ice, so when you're out there, you want to maximize the actual time on ice, being prepared, communicating the plan, like what is it you're trying to achieve today, and just kind of being prepared. Like it goes a long way. Like 2 hours for every hour you spend on the ice, probably preparing. So I found that's the best way to get the development piece, to create the right environment for kids, and for the other coaches as well. So you're trying to, ultimately achieve a goal, and you have to be prepared. You can't just show up and be creative at sometimes, right? Sometimes you got to step back and say,
Certainly.
It's not working. Let's move on.
Exactly. Well, and the other half
and being adaptable too. So
the other half of what you're talking about as well is making sure that you're showing and teaching the kids how to manage their time as well, right?
Sure.
As coaches, we're often asked to talk about just strictly the game, but being a coach is a far bigger responsibility than that because you're working with these kids for their future,
Sure.
right? So in some cases, part of it is being a mentor to these kids. So to make sure that message gets out, you need to make sure you're setting the right examples. And I agree with you 100%. 2 hours to a practice is pretty much normal. Kevin, maybe you can talk a little bit about communications.
Well, to me, the number one skill of any coach is to be able to communicate. If you can't communicate to your players, you're not going to get very far in the game. And I've heard the saying, players need to know that you care before they care that you know. And I think I kind of live by that when I'm coaching is, in order for me to get there, to get things across, they got to know I care about them as people and not just as hockey players. So it becomes about communicating and about accountability to those players. And each kid is different. There's 4-year-olds, there's 15-year-olds. How you communicate to little Billy or to Johnny are two different things. And you as a coach need to look at that. What I can do to get the best out of one player, it might be totally opposite what I got to do to get the best out of the other player. So communication skills, I think, are paramount. And I think when you look up to the higher levels and you look up to the NHL and everything, they're all doing the same thing. They're all teaching the same things, but the guys who can communicate and the guys who can get their players to execute are the guys who are going to be successful. So coaches need to work on that more than anything.
Those are the winners, and I can't agree with you more. I mean, communication is definitely the key to the entire aspect, and there's a number of different tools available. You can use the internet and video clips to actually help communicate. So you don't always have to rely on the fact of talking verbal. There's other mediums out there for you to use to get your point across, and that's definitely very important. Trevor, maybe you can talk about some of the other aspects in terms of coaches and what other skills they need to look at.
I think passion and intensity are big as well. When they're at the rink, they have to have a passion for being there, have to like what they're doing. If it shows that the coaching staff's having fun, enjoying being there, and showing that they care, the kids are going to buy in. With the intensity level, I think you need to challenge the kids so that you get the best out of each one of them. I think you got to tone it down for depending on what age groups you have, but there's different ways of coming about and getting that out of the kids. And don't accepting anything but their best. Show them that you care and show them that they got to do their best while they're out there to get the most out of them, and then they'll use those life skills later on in life. And most importantly, make it fun. If you're full of passion and making it fun and showing that you care, they're going to want to play the next year, and that's our ultimate goal.
I agree 100%. Should be the game at the end of the day is fun, and if you're getting in the way and not making it fun, then there's something wrong with you. So definitely that's the key thing to focus on. Well, that's fantastic, guys. Thanks very much, and there's been some great information to pass along, and hopefully this helps some people thinking about coaching to jump in and help out, because it certainly is a very fulfilling, rewarding position. I can speak to that myself. Why don't we talk a little bit about how we got involved in the game? Trevor, why don't you tell us why you like coaching and why you got involved?
I got involved from some good coaches that I had growing up. When I was in junior, I had the opportunity to do some summer camps in the off season, and just loved being on the ice with the kids and instructing them and making them better. And when I ended up finishing up junior, then I went back and started coaching, and been coaching ever since.
It's fantastic, and that's really what it's all about, the kids and passing on the heritage and the education. Kevin, how about yourself?
Well, it's much the same as Trevor, I guess. I was fortunate enough to play for gentlemen like George Kingston and Willie Desjardins, who are great coaches, and I learned from them. And then I guess it's about giving back to the game. And motto of if you can't play, become a coach. I guess I fell into that when my university career was winding down, and I got so much out of the game of hockey with playing at the university level and getting my education, partially paid for. I wanted to give something back, so I started at a very high level. I started at midget AAA, to be honest. I got a call from somebody who wanted me to be assistant coach, and I started out coaching the Calgary Buffaloes was my first gig. So a little bit different than most people start, but I started at a high level and was fortunate enough to move on from then. And I'm still coaching today. Now I've kind of come back around and come up coaching my son, and that brings on different challenges in itself. But at the end of the day, you do it because you're passionate about the game. I think you do it because you love to see you're influencing and developing not only their hockey skills, but their leadership skills, their ability to be good teammates and good people. And I think those are the things we pride ourselves in. And probably the thing I love most now is looking back and I've coached some kids that have gone on and are playing in the NHL and done some things, and that's great. But probably even more satisfying than that is seeing the number of guys that I coached that are now coaching. And one, I guess it means I've been doing it for far too long and I'm getting old. But two, it's great to see those guys. They come back and they're coaching, and you take pride in that they learn some of those things from you, and they still tell the old stories. I remember the time that And and that's the hockey fraternity. It's great, and we work together and see those things move on.
I agree. So let me get this straight. You haven't done your 6:30 a.m.
Oh, I've done that now.
Yet?
I've had to go back and start over once my son came up. So
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were being fair on the dues here.
My order went AAA Midget University Timbits.
That's perfect. Darren, how about yourself? How did you get involved, and what do you love about it so much?
Yeah, my story is a little bit different than the gentleman here. I'm a big kid. I just love to be involved with kids and the energy piece and the enthusiasm piece. Growing up, I never had a famous coach. I'm your typical dad was my coach for a while, and I looked up to my dad, and I saw other people look up to him, and wanting to be a good example for my boys and other boys out there and little girls, and I just love working with kids, and I love having that energy and building that environment. So I coached a little bit, after I was done playing till I was about 22 or 3, and then I had to go off to university and get a real job, and then having kids of my own come back to the rink and just see the Timbits out there, and we all mean well, and guys might not have the energy, and they kind of don't get down at the kids' level. So I said, no, what, we got to get down at their level, and I got to get in there, and I got to help, and I got to see how I can contribute to this, and it's just a benefit being with your own boys, but the key is being that influence for that positiveness. So they say a coach is probably more influential than maybe a school teacher, or sometimes even mom and dad. So that's a big responsibility, but just being a big kid, and I just have a passion for it, and parents will even come to you and say, "Can you tell my kid to clean his room?" Right? Because they'll listen to you, right?
Yep.
That's a pretty big deal for like an 8-year-old to clean his room regularly because coach told him to.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's lots of life lessons learned through our game, but just fun.
Well, it's just like Trevor had mentioned too, right? It's the passion part, and you're bringing that to the kids. They get more passionate. When they're passionate, then they excel at it. Does that mean that they're becoming better hockey players? Maybe, maybe not, but maybe they're becoming better people. And that's goes back to how I got involved in the game. I started teaching skating when I was 12, and then we didn't have a head coach for our junior varsity high school team. So I took them to a tournament, and that's how it started at 16 years old, off to the races for coaching. And I've still today stay involved in the game and coaching, because to me it would scare me to death if there weren't enough kids that were passionate and loving the game, because the game would die. And I don't want that to happen. So my goal each year is to make sure that I leave those kids as passionate about the game as I am, so that I know the game is in good hands, right? And that's really what I want to do. I don't want this game to end, and that's the only way I can make an impact to make sure it doesn't. And that's why I'm involved in it. So, well, that's fantastic, guys. I really appreciate your time today. There's a ton of information that's been passed along to our members and people that might be considering coaching. So for those of you that haven't been involved in coaching before, by all means, please stop by the Bow Valley office, ask a couple of questions. There's tons of people to help you out. And to those parents that are experiencing the rewards from somebody that volunteers their time, by all means, they certainly appreciate the pat on the back, and we'll go from there. Guys, thanks again. Everybody else, work hard, be passionate, and we'll see you at the rink.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Here with Brett Woods. Brett, Bow Valley has done a lot with the coaches and the resources this year. What are you using, and what's working for you?
Jeff, I'm using a lot of the stuff that I've compiled over the years. I've worked with some of these goalies here. Right now I'm working with the PeeWee 1 goalies, and I've worked with GDI in the past. So I'm using some of their resources. We're using some of the resources from the Bow Valley website that have been compiled over the years as well. And I guess my own experience. I've played a lot of hockey over the years as a goalie, and just trying to bring that to the forefront with the kids and pass on my experience to them.
For you, what keeps you coming back every year?
Well, it's really only one thing. I do love hockey, but it's the kids. I love to see them succeed. I've seen, of course, my son, his friends grow up from the time they were 5 or 6 years old, and they just have a great time out there, and they continue to do it. And I love to work with the goalies as a coach, just to pass on that information. Somebody did that for me at one point in my life, and I just want to pay back.
Well, thanks, Brett. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Anytime.
Dave, want to talk to you. Bow Valley does a fair bit on our coaches and resources for them. What are you using this year, and how is it working?
Well, we just a couple of practice ago we had Trevor Morgan out. He showed us a couple of drills that helps keep a nice transition and a nice flow. So we've been leveraging that. And I talked to a lot of the other coaches. I talked to some of the 1 coaches, 2 coaches. So guys that have been doing this for 8 or 9 years. They've got some good drills. They've got some good practice plans. So most of it's just get out there and talk to guys.
Well, I know you've been coaching quite a few years, Dave. What keeps you coming back?
Oh, I enjoy the game. I've been playing this game. Oh God, I'm 48. Been playing this game since I was 4. Got a lot of passion for it. I enjoy the kids. The kids are great. We have great kids in our room this year. A lot of fun. I enjoy the coaches. I've met some great friends over the 7 years. Mike, Ross, Trent, Rees. Good time.
Here with Trent Rees. Trent, Bow Valley does quite a bit in regards to coaches and the resources that we have. What have you guys been using this year, and what's been working for you?
Well, I know the website, we use that for resourcing a lot of our practices, but on the higher end, the hockey operations fellow Trevor Morgan has come out to one of our practices, and actually it was an eye-opener for not only us, the coaches, but the kids to get a different voice in there. And it was nice to actually have that ability, talking to other associations around town. It's not something that they have, and when I speak to that to these other associations, it's something that they wish they had. So I think that's one of the key things that I really appreciate about Bow Valley right now, and having that access to a fellow like that.
Well, I know that you've been coaching quite a few years with Bow Valley. What keeps you coming back, Trent?
Well, last year actually was the first year I didn't coach, and I missed it immensely. So I'd have to say it was just to be on the ice with the kids. I mean, win or lose, and we've had our ups and downs over the 5 or 6 years that I've had my son. It didn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just going in the dressing room, feeling a part of a team, and seeing these kids actually grow into adults, especially the ones that I've been lucky enough to be with for the last few years.
Awesome. Well, welcome back.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Trent.
As we have. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No.
I'm trying to think. Is that okay?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Hey,
go ahead.
do you know what? I do it all the time.
Good enough. All right. I'm just trying to think in my head.
Here with Dave Koch, coach of the PeeWee team. Dave, first I want to wish you a happy birthday. I heard from a little birdie it was your birthday.
Thanks. Yeah. 29.
29 again. Is Tracy planning something special?
No, not really. We had some cake. We brought it for the practice. The kids are eating cake in the room right now. It's all good.
Sweet. Well, we'll get you back there.